Good morning, everyone. Welcome to American Scouser's morning coffee or tea with American Scouser. It's Friday, TGIFF, as we like to call it over here. Kermit is in the house, as always, on a Friday with some coffee. And with us this Friday, John is back in action, and he is looking to fill in at center back, which we might need. We will talk about. John, what's happening?
I'm good, Tim. I told you at the pregame, no, at the pre-show that I thought I was late for the show. Then I wake up, read some Twitter headlines, and Konate is injured. Woohoo! What a Friday!
So yeah, it's not the best way to start, but
yeah.
It's almost coming, almost in the works. But have no fear, Nat Phillips is here, says Coffee. What is happening?
Team Nat Phillips. I don't even know what number he is anymore. I'll give him the number 4. Take it off Virgil.
Exactly, and that I rest my case with that. We don't even know what number he is.
Get him in. Get him in.
A few things to get to right off the bat over here. Before we get started, if you have not already, good tomorrow, says Ryan. So I can tell he's running late. Alan is with us as always as well. Good morning to everybody. Hop on as we go on a wild ride over here on a Friday morning. Before we really get fully started, don't forget to subscribe and like and do all those things on the bottom. There should be a button in the very bottom right corner over here. I think it could be on this bottom right corner too. Either freaking way, it's on the bottom corner. And definitely under the video, so you can subscribe to YouTube that way. A few other things. We talked about this, I think on Wednesday. I kind of like mentioned some of like the good stuff that we got coming. Sir Z says good morning. As you can actually see, Sir Z's fitting endo article over there as well. Just today, a few hours ago, we released Harry's tactical preview for the Newcastle game. Yeah, if you're into tactics, man, he is the man to follow and read. Some really good stuff over there and stuff that you're definitely going to be.
Let me just say that was so class. And for people who are saying that we should drop the line a few yards, please read that.
Yes, read that that's actually this one. Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Like if you guys like, he's Mr. Tactics, so like the high line.
Oh, right. Yeah,
that's definitely a great read. This one is specific for the game itself. Like I said, it literally just came out a few hours ago. So unless you're in the East Coast like Gally, who is in charge of publishing these things, it's a bit early for the rest of us. But definitely now that it's you're awake, now you can like read it kind of deal. Yes, good question by Alan. Why is Nat still at Anfield? Chris woke up angry this morning. I don't know what the hell happened there. But the headline I missed. I basically looked a lot about like at Klopp's press conference, so we'll definitely cover a lot of that. We'll take a look at the weekend coming up. A lot of talking points, obviously, with transfers and stuff like that, which kind of like brings us. It's a 2-in-1. It's the transfer news and news about the press conference at the same time. Is Mo. So there isn't anything to talk about. It pretty much is the answer to that question. Difficult to talk about media stories. There's nothing to talk about from our point of view. Mo is the Liverpool player. Nothing there. If there was something, the answer would be no. He is not for sale. Are you buying that, Kazi? Is there a price that everybody's eventually up for sale? Like, I mean, I don't know. Like somebody comes around the corner, Saudi says 250 or something like that. We'll be like, he was not for sale, but
everyone's got a price in football. I think a lot of people have learned that this summer, that every single footballer has a price, and models go out the window in certain cases. Do I believe that Liverpool a week before the window would sell Mo Salah? No. Do I believe that any of these rumours are true, that it's for this window? No, because the club that who actually want Mo Salah is the one that we just did the Fabinho deal with. When they clearly stated 6 weeks ago, hey, we're kind of interested in Mo Salah as well. Yeah. And not left it, hey, a week before the window, by the way, we're kind of interested in Mo Salah. Doesn't work like that, really. So if it was a different club kind of thing, then maybe, there's something in it. But because of the particular club, that's what I'm holding my hat on. They would have literally just said, we'll give you 250 million for both of them. Like, just kind of done something along those lines.
That's fair.
I think in Mo's case, I think he's keeping options open, not for this summer, but in the future move. I think his future move will be the Saudi, whether that's next season or in 3 years, whatever he wants to do with his career. Because that money's always still going to be there, even if he turns 35, kind of deal. Because of the shape he's in, his injury record, I think he can play up until the age of 40, because he's just never in. So I do feel like a lot of length out of him. I mean, that money's still always going to be there. So I just don't see anything in these rumours at all. But if you are Liverpool, I think, the rumours of 100 million only bars his right foot. Never mind his left. So, I mean, for right now, for Liverpool, it probably is close to 200, 250 million if Liverpool are going to do a deal now. But I just can't see it.
Yeah, I think in terms of age, I find Mo the closest to a player like Messi, where he can adjust his game and maybe kind of chill. I was watching something the other day on Twitter about Messi, kind of like literally walking around for like 30, 45 seconds, just like he's on a stroll in a park. Kind of not even like fully watching what's happening, kind of like disinterested. And then he suddenly makes this run and grabs the ball and like scores a goal. I see Messi like that, kind of Mo like that, where he can adjust his game. He doesn't have to be sprinting, running down the wing every single time, and kind of adjust his game and play for years to come. And honestly, even Mo at a 30% less capacity than what he is now is still a really darn good player for the Saudi league. The only thing that I would say to that in terms of timing, Kazi, is knowing like the Turkish league, the Greek league, and I'm almost positive the Saudi league is like this too. The clubs are now run very well and easily influenced by fans. So I can see, and I think Klopp talked about this. I was going to ask you about that anyway, John, in terms of like the timing that, our window closes, their window keeps going. And what happens is, if you have like a 2-3 weeks where they're like, you can't score or whatever, they're like, man, we need like a right winger. Everybody says that, and it's like, you need the right winger, let's go get the best of them. So these people are going to keep coming. Something's going to happen. They're like, we're conceding too many goals. You know what we need? A center back. And then they're going to go after a center back and stuff like that. Will the Saudis even care to adjust the window as much as Europe complains? Because, what do they care?
Yeah, Saudi doesn't care, but in terms of Klopp saying that Salah's not for sale, I guess that's positive. Although nowadays you'll never know. Like I keep saying, the Henderson thing kind of shook me in terms of players. It's very naive of me, I know, because as Kazi said, everyone could be bought. And Henderson getting bought, I guess, was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. So that's unfortunate. Salah as well, I don't expect him to stay. Like you said, Tim, they're going to be coming back and back and back. So I don't think he's going to be sold this year. And in terms of like Saudi adjusting the windows and everything, even if they don't get him this year, they're probably going to be coming back for him next year and the year after that and the year after that until they get him. Yeah. So definitely we can't say that we didn't have time to plan. That's my whole thing.
I think it's a good point though, what you're following on with the plan thing.
Yeah.
Because there is a plan, of course, with Nunes. Which, I know it's, but he is the thing, isn't he? Like, he's 22. He's going to be 24 in 2 years when Mo's contract ends. If Mo goes, I'll do 2 years for you, don't sell me. I'll do 2 years, let's try and win a league. And then I'll go at 33, 34 kind of deal. Where Nunes should be at an age where we just know what he's about. We all don't know. We have no idea what his best position is. We have no idea how many goals he can score, whether he can score 10 or 30. We have no idea. He's the biggest unknown quantity that we have in our squad. Yeah. So I think it also buys him time as well. But in terms of like the adjustment, like Messi, for me, he's more like Ronaldo in terms of where Ronaldo went from this marauding winger to this striker, where Mo's played down in the middle for Liverpool and scored goals. Where I can see Mo being a number 9 for a lot of clubs when he's 34, and he's just going to be their number 9 and just use just 5-10 yards of pace just to get away from a man and slot. I can see him a little bit more doing that and more dropping deeper. But I think it's super interesting for Liverpool because it does give you, if they come back next summer with 200 million, let's say, or 150, 200 million, it gives you something to go, well, is this it? For me personally, I'd give him a new contract right now. I think Mo Salah can play till he's 35 at this level. So that's my personal opinion. Just because of his injury record, and he shows no sign of dropping. So
well, you got to figure if you do another contract for him, you're probably having to give him a raise for Mo to sign. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, why the hell would Mo sign it? Are you giving him more? I mean, I know FSG is not, I would think.
I mean, listen, we have our wage touches and stuff like that. I know the rumor was Klopp sat down with the players and said he's the only one who's getting this kind of money because he's basically going to win you all the trophies. So that's why he's going to get, why he got this kind of money, because he deserves it, because he won us all these trophies and he's going to win us some more. How much you put him up to? 400 grand a week? Is that sound about right for a player of Mo Salah's caliber? How many other clubs in the world could pay him 400 grand a week? 12? 10 to 12 clubs probably still could pay him 400 grand a week if he wanted it that much.
Yeah.
But I do feel like Mo's at a stage in his career where he just wants to break records at Liverpool. Like, I think there's that famous interaction about 18 months ago with Ian Rush. And the first thing he said to him was, how did you score so many goals? It's like he knew he was the record goal scorer and went, and I'm eyeing you up. Like, already, like, okay, I've got some catching up to do. Like, he knew, like, he knows all the records. And that goes back to that Chelsea thing at the opening day. I don't think he's pissed off about getting subbed. I think he's pissed off about not scoring because he would have broke the record for scoring on every single opening day for the last 6 years. So I think
I'm sure he's pissed that he's not getting the opportunity for the next 15, 20 minutes either, though.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, to score that goal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? On the counter-attack kind of thing, when Chelsea were pinning us in at the time, Liverpool were getting small opportunities on the counter, that kind of thing. So I think he is just kind of a record-breaking kind of player.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. He is like that, but at the same time, it all goes back to, you know, everybody has a price. Then he might be like, yeah, let's go with that. I think in terms of a player, it's a no-brainer that he will end up in that league as like the most successful, most decorated like Muslim player and like the best one really to be able to play. So he's probably, you know, that's just like a natural flow, and it's like probably like the easiest for him to adjust as well, and for his family in terms of going there. So it's not like you're like sacrificing anything or in like adjusting anything. I think it fits to your regular like lifestyle in most ways. Obviously, when you're used to living in Europe, it's still a change, but it's not like a radical change as it might be to Hando or somebody like that. Yeah. But I guess since the Saudi League is going to be around for a while, John, at the same time, he can say, you know what, I got a couple more years. I'll wait till his contract ends, and then I'll go over there. That's probably my next step.
Well, I certainly hope so. Like, I actually hope that we do offer him a new contract, like what Kazi's saying. Now, what's giving me a bit of faith for this Salah situation is, to quote the kids, he's got that dog in him. So I think he still wants to win.
I like how John said, to quote the kids, like he's our age, Kazi.
No, man, like these kids, they got like I was born in '96, right? And I'm already like hearing all this crap that I'm just like, what? So like we didn't talk like that when I was younger, but anyway, I digress. Anyway, he does have that dog in him, Salah. He's a elite player with elite mentality. I still feel like he knows that he could deliver one, maybe two more big titles, whether that's a Premier League or a Champions League to Liverpool. And I think that if he, for example, he goes to the Saudi League next year, he knows it's a waste. He knows that he's still the best winger in the league. Like Bukayo Saka, don't make me laugh, man. Like Salah is just leagues above him, man. Even at age 33, even at age 34, I'd still have him. So that's what's kind of giving me a little bit of faith in terms of Salah staying with us. Sorry,
no, you're right, because I still think Salah thinks he's the best player in the league.
Yep.
I still think he's I'm the best player in this league still. And I think that's his mentality. So going on, feeding off what you've just said there with the mentality thing, he sits there and goes, I am by far the best player in this league. Forget Haaland, these are one season kind of thing. And that's how he'll probably think in his head. De Bruyne is injured, and I'll go on and be the best player in the league. And I still think he believes that.
And I probably would agree, really. I mean, I know we didn't see a drop last week or whatever, but Kevin De Bruyne is looking up and seeing Haaland in the middle. It's almost like a done deal that something is going to happen out of that. It's kind of out of the equation. I know they keep signing players and they'll try to replace him, but I mean, there's a reason Kevin De Bruyne is De Bruyne. He's not as easily replaceable. Yes, you can have another quality player in there. You can put Foden in there, whatever, but it's really not the same thing. By the way, something to touch on. I know, like Chris mentioned, that I read about. Actually, we talked about a little bit of we talked about VAR and stuff. We talked about this on the panel show on Wednesday night, and literally this comes out the next day. We were talking a little bit about like them covering for each other and stuff like that. And literally the next day this comes up. So I know Alex from Fulham shared it in our Discord channel for the panel show, saying, "Hey, we just talked about this shit, and these guys are doing this." And that's just pathetic. That just shows like the state of VAR, but that's a conversation for another day, because that is like, when I saw that, I was like, really? Sparky says he thinks Mo gets sold next summer, and I agree. That's where I'm at as well, because I don't think we're giving him an extension, because I don't think we're giving him a pay raise as he approaches mid-30s, and I am okay with that. Like, I understand that, I guess. Let's put it that way. Like, if we didn't sign him to a new contract. What was that, 2 years ago or last year, whenever it was, because we didn't want to pay the wages. I was going to be pretty pissed off about that because you can tell he's in his prime. Now to give another raise as he approaches even the later stages, I can understand why I would not do that. So I'm cool with that. Let's do two scenarios and you give me a price there. Kazi, let's start with you. He's gone this summer. If somebody pays this much, next summer, how much is okay to get for him?
200 million this summer. And probably next summer, probably between the 150 and 200 mark. I think it all depends on his numbers as well. If he goes and gets 35 goals for Liverpool this summer, in this season, I think Liverpool can still probably ask for 200 million, even with 1 year left on his deal. You got to think, what is Mo Salah worth to Liverpool? That's the other part. Everyone always judges players like, for example, the Palace and Decore situation. Decore's not worth 70 million, but he is to Palace. That's how much he's worth to Palace, because he's got fucking 20 goals going in, which gets us relegated. So it's like, what's Mo worth to Liverpool? He's worth Liverpool getting back in the Champions League. So how much does it cost Liverpool to be out the Champions League? 100 million? 150 million? How much does it cost us in revenue? So it's that kind of stuff, isn't it? It's
not only that, it's like replacement cost too. I mean,
exactly.
How much is it going to take to find a player that's Liverpool winger?
That's exactly the point. It comes down to the Darwin's thing that I mentioned before. If Darwin goes against 35, everyone's going to be going, well, we've got Darwin. So it's very, very difficult to put the price on it. But I would say 150 next summer, but I don't think I'd still sell him for that.
Yeah, I would be shocked. I mean, obviously, the way prices are going, next summer might be more obnoxious. But with today's prices, for next summer, I was at like 120 or so. 200 sounds like 200 is a number that might stop everybody and be like, wait, what? Kind of a thing, and make you think about it. What price are you putting in now? And I do agree, like Chris says, he does have he's gonna go there and get a lot of, and he knows. So I'm sure he's in no rush. And honestly, if you think about it, if whichever way this season goes, you can make a case for Mo being okay to go there. You have a great season, he might be like, that's it, one couple more trophies, I'm out. If you have a poor season, like where we don't go to Champions League again, he was like, well, I might as well take the money, I'm out. So I can kind of see both scenarios. John, give me some prices this summer, next summer.
This summer, definitely the same vein as Kazi, around 200, because I do feel like Mo is an anomaly. You just don't replace him like that. So I feel like we need as much money as possible. Like, where do you get 30 goals from the wing? You don't. Mane was probably the closest, and he didn't make that number. So listen, whether Salah goes this year or next year, we're going to have an absolutely difficult time replacing him. Kazi suggested Darwin. I just had to laugh because
that's what I'm saying. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. But the problem is with Salah, we do know, right? Exactly. We know what we're going to get. Exactly. So it's just going to be tough, man. And as much as I am with Tim here, like in terms of agreeing with the inevitability that he's going to go, it's tough picturing how we're going to cope, honestly.
Can I ask you guys a question then, right?
Yeah.
For the Saudi League, is Salah more important to get that sign done with being African and Muslim, of course, and stuff, for their league in terms of their people? That's on the level like a Ronaldo signing of like, this could be for that country and that's, kind of thing. With his religion, where he's from, he could be the biggest star in the league.
Yeah. I mean, it's a 2-in-1, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, because they were talking about, his wages would be more than Ronaldo. And I actually saw something about like, if they chant Messi's name in a Ronaldo game, you get punished or something like that. And I literally saw, I don't know how much truth there was to it, but they take action if like Ronaldo is disrespected in games and stuff because he's the face of the league kind of a deal. But I read that Mo's wages would be higher than Ronaldo, as it should be, because he's more of it in his prime. Yeah. I mean, he's literally in his prime for the most part. I know the age doesn't show that, but his game does. And I think it's a 2-in-1 for him. You're bringing the best Muslim player, the best African player of all time to your league. And he doesn't get the credit, but he's probably, what would you say, like top 5 in the world?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I don't think there's any better winger, would you say, John? Is he a better winger in the league?
I think he's the greatest Premier League winger of all time. But then that's probably my Liverpool bias showing. But man, like I said a few shows ago, 30 goals, multiple seasons. He also led the league in assists at one point.
Yeah,
3 golden boots. That's just unheard of, man.
I mean, if you're putting together like a great team, like if you're Saudi prince and you're putting together the best team money can buy, the two wingers you get, the two wingers I would get would probably be Vinicius and Mo, right?
Yeah. But Vinicius hasn't really got the numbers that Salah gets.
No.
You know what I mean? So it's, and I think to put it into context for the Liverpool fans, I think if you're doing the greatest ever 11 of Liverpool players, Dalglish and Rush wouldn't both get in because you'd have to change your formation to get Salah in, which is insane.
Yeah.
You've seen that our fellas 20 years ago. In 20 years' time, Dalglish and Rush will both not get in because you've got to make a decision because you've got to change formation to fit Salah in a 4-3-3.
Yes.
That's insanity to think about. It's insane.
But I mean, it's the kind of player that you better change your shit to. Like, it's worth changing your shit to, I guess. Let's put it that way. But, I mean, it sounds like he's not going anywhere. And a lot of the things I read was basically this is the Saudis throwing somebody out there to make another talking point and create a distraction right before we play a Saudi-owned team. Is that even like successful, John? I mean, who's like distracted by, apart from like the media and an extra few questions to Klopp in a press conference?
Listen, we got more problems right now than Salah leaving. Let me start with
Yes, we're gonna get to that next. Yeah.
Like Salah leaving, all right, but bro, we don't have an elite DM. Like we got Endo, who's literally starting his first game after arriving last week. Woohoo! Happy days. We lost our second best CV, right? Who does the role in the new system the best? So, listen, it's not distracting anyone. Like we have too much problems to be distracted by this shit, man. Honestly,
I'm banging into the idea, by the way, of Salah just posting that he's playing chess on Instagram. Like,
absolutely,
I'm trying to have a game of chess. My phone's blowing up. Leave me alone.
I'm busy. The phone is on silent. We're playing chess over here.
Exactly. Yeah, leave me alone.
So Trent, yes, he's okay in terms of injuries over here from the press conference. Thiago and Curtis from Monday on. So you would think they'd be in the game day squad based on that information. Konate is a doubt, which is, makes you crap your pants on a Friday morning. Playing for 30 plus minutes with 10 men didn't help. I don't get that.
Yeah, I mean, get that at all. It's his job, bro.
I do get that. And if I agree to that, you better go sign another 6 guys. Because if we're, 30 plus minutes of playing 10 men and we're going to start dropping like flies.
The thing is, we didn't even have to sit back too much. We had the ball.
So we played our best game in the whole game.
Right, exactly. So I was like, what's he on about? Like,
couldn't get the ball off us.
Yeah.
We were amazing.
I did not get that. I know, he likes to complain or he wants to, he doesn't want to say Konate has a muscle injury again or Konate is going to be missing a couple of weeks again. So he says, well, that didn't help. I mean, I'm sure that didn't help. It's factual. Yeah. But if that hurt that bad, then we're in deep shit. And I know it's early in the season, so it can hurt more than maybe week 15.
Yeah.
But come on, man. I mean, 30 plus minutes, and then we're gonna lose 6 people because they played one man down for 20 minutes. Doesn't make sense. I mean, this only shows Kazi though, and he did say, I guess let's go to that in terms of center backs. He was kind of asked, I think. Yeah, the press conference, they kind of stayed away from that. I'm sure, obviously everybody went in there with Mo put on their pad. So that's what they asked. But we have in an ideal world, 8 center halves, and I have no doubt about the quality of the boys. Kwanzaa is a super talented player. At this moment, we're covered. But it's not where, notice he didn't say Phillips, by the way. At this moment, we're covered, but it's not where you can be prepared for every situation. We will do our absolute best. Is that Klopp, John? Is that Klopp saying we are the freaking center back?
Listen, he mentioned Kwanzaa. I didn't know if you noticed. I was just really? Kwanzaa? Okay, I'm with Kazi here. If we're going to put Kwanzaa in, we might as well put Phillips in, man. First of all.
I think Phillips is that bad that he said Kwanzaa, not Phillips.
I'm
sticking to that.
the kid looks good, but to just throw him in a Newcastle game is just insanity. So let's be real here. So this whole thing, to your point, Tim, we've been talking about this for weeks, and unfortunately, it's coming to a head. Matip and Gomez did not look good in the preseason. This is the worst possible opponent that we could have this kind of injury for.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Isak is going to tear that right side to shreds, and whoever they replace San Maximo with, like I don't watch much Newcastle, but yeah, they're pretty speedy at the back. They're in the front there. So
well, they have Barnes replacing him basically, right?
Barnes.
Yeah. I mean, I know he came off the bench the first game, but I would expect
he starts Anthony Gordon, doesn't he? He starts Anthony Gordon, he's garbage. So if he starts him again, that'll be good. But if he does start Harvey Barnes, then yeah, I know what you're saying.
I mean, honestly, when you have Matip or somebody there, I don't care who you start.
Left. Just starting that Phillips.
Yeah, you does start Gordon there. And now Barnes comes in, which is not like, you don't see Barnes coming in. It's like those games where we go to Europe where we're resting everybody, and then off the bench we put, we were like, okay, here's Bobby and Mo coming off the bench, and then the other defense is like, motherfucker, like, like we were hanging on over here. So it's kind of like that. I mean, you see Barnes coming off the bench, you don't really doesn't put a smile on your face.
Let me just say, I feel like we start Joey G. Anthony Gordon's gonna look like Prime Sadio Mane. That's
harsh, bro.
I just harsh on Joey as well as Mane.
I don't know, man.
Give Joe a break, man. Like I thought he was okay. I thought he was okay against Chelsea when he came on.
He played right back though.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's what we might do. I don't think he's gonna. It's difficult for him, innit? I get it. It's difficult because I think he needs to start games. I think we were all under the impression if Konate's fit, Joe Gomez is starting every Europa League game. And to get match fitness into him, to find out what he's about again. Like, he's been at the team for so long. Let's get it right. 2 years ago, he was amazing before he got his big injury. He was amazing for us. He was brilliant. So it'd be nice to see where he's at. But, yes, am I worried for the Newcastle game if Konate doesn't play? Yes. Because I think, again, I'd like him to start, Bournemouth at home, for example, and play that game. You know what I mean? Instead of Newcastle away, which is, and especially on a fucking Sunday night of all, the times that you can play a game. So, but I think in terms of the, the centre-half situation with the signings, I think he is kind of saying, listen, we are covered, but he did mention that I do want a squad to go into the new season with from next week. He's never going to come out and go, I'd love another centre-half. I think it's very difficult. It's like everyone always brings the quote from last year with his midfielders when he names the midfielders and goes, what else do I need? Like, kind of thing. It's like, yeah, but 5 of those midfielders are gone,
Yeah.
The manager's not stupid. 12 months later, 5 of them are gone. You know what I mean? Including Arthur, actually, it's 6, I think, including Arthur. So 6 are gone. So it's like, I think the manager's not daft. He's not stupid. But he can't come out and go, I don't rate this Matip and Gomez. They're both garbage. I'd love another couple of cents. He can't say that. He can't. He's trying to give those confidence that he's got to play games. But the Kwanzaa quote, which you picked up on, I think he looks at Kwanzaa now for the Europa League games and goes, you're going to play these. You're playing these fucking 6. You're going to Slovenia on a Thursday night because I'm not sending Joe Gomez or Matip or Konate or kind of thing, and you're playing.
And I think it affects that, right? I mean, if Konate if all these guys, now you have 3 other center backs who can be injured at any given time, who are regularly hurt, kind of a deal. And so, do you want to even risk him there? So I can see that. Normally, I thought they would play the Europa, and Kwanzaa and Phillips and stuff will show up in the League Cup. Is kind of like what I was thinking. But at the same time, do you want to risk him there on a Thursday? Because you're going to need him now for sure. He's not going to sit on the bench. You're going to need him now on the weekend. And that's kind of scary. I mean, Joe Gomez, I do feel like he gets a lot of shit for what he does. When he was great, it was because of Van Dijk. But then when he made mistakes, it wasn't because Van Dijk is not his best. Like, I mean, I understand. That's not fair to the kid. But I guess, so are we in – normally, I think this time last year, this would be a no-brainer that it would be Matip playing instead of Konate. But seems like we're all saying Joey. Is that a preference thing? Or is that you think what Klopp will go as well, John?
I just knocked Gomez here, but I would actually choose him to start because, like I said, the pace of Newcastle. We need someone who can actually track back. I love Matip. I think he's arguably our second best CB of the modern era, right? Hot take. So, but he's lost a step in terms of pace, in terms of recovery. He still reads the game well, but he can't position himself well enough to make that read, if that makes sense. So, listen, Joey G is the a logical solution. I feel. In terms of physicality, he might struggle, but what can we do? What can we do? Right? Like we might as well put ourselves in the best position. So I'd say Joey G, man.
I probably say that just because, I mean, Sparky says Gomez covers Trent better. I think Gomez covers anybody better just because he has more speed. So even if Gomez takes a bad position, he can half the time make up for it because of his speed. If Matip takes the wrong spot, he's screwed because he's not basically tracking back and catching up.
Correct. It has to be Gomez in this new formation. Just has to be. Like when Matip, I think Matip played at West Ham last year. I think he started. Matip scored that game actually, I think. And he played it against West Ham. He was all over the place for half an hour. He had no idea what he was doing. Matip, he was dreadful. He got it together in the second half a bit more. But I think that's because Liverpool took a 1-0 lead. I think Gakpo scored from outside the area. And we took a 1-0 lead. And I think Liverpool were kind of bet like, you can take our 1-0, which Liverpool do in certain games. We do game manager well. In terms of Konate being a doubt, the interesting part is we have Newcastle and Villa. And then we have the international break. So was it like, can you get him through those two? Because you have the international break, hear me out, and then you have Wolves away, which you could do a Gomez and not a Konate and Wolves away and go, you've got 3 weeks to sort yourself out there because you're not playing Wolves. If you can, because he is a doubt, can you get through the next two for me? The two most important ones. We'll give you the international break and Wolves to get 3 weeks, under you for your rest. There could be something in those along those lines as well.
I mean, that solves the problem for now, but I just feel like the same thing happens again in October sometime, and then in November sometime. It's just, I think we are seeing then. I mean, here's the thing: this whole that line really bugged the shit out of me now. Playing 30+ minutes for 10 minutes, like was Van Dijk playing a different game? No, I mean now we're seeing, as much as I love Konate and really he is the ideal player probably for that spot, especially the way we play, the way Trent plays and everything like that. He is not going to be a guy that's going to be what we had with Van Dijk, who's going to be there every single week. So you can already delete that. If you're Klopp and you're relying, I'll start these two for the next 40 games and run them into the ground like I did with the midfield, you're not going to be able to, even if you wanted to. Konate is not going to be available to be trotted out there every week like you do with Van Dijk. And I think that you see that. So don't even go to this 30+ thing because Van Dijk was in that game too. He's out there again. I think we're going to sadly have this issue with Konate. Hopefully, if you manage him better, maybe you'll avoid these situations. So he'll be the guy that, for example, gets subbed out or something like that down the road. Bring Joe Gomez or Matip in and stuff like that if you have the game in hand. But I just fear that while, like you're saying, Kazi, with the international break and stuff, it helps the cause. But then this is going to happen in a month if we don't take action. And I don't know if we're going to take action. I mean, we have a week left over here. I just have this feeling, I don't know why, but I just have this feeling nothing is going to happen. So what is the gut feeling here, John? Something happens, we do take action, CB, CM, or?
It's a little too late now. Like, I feel like if we were going to do something, we should have, like, something concrete should have materialized throughout this week. Unfortunately, no, not for me. And we're taking a big chance again in a season where we're expected to get back to the levels that we're expected to be in. Like, let's not even sugarcoat it. We have to get back to Champions League. So this is a big chance that Klopp is taking. Like, I trust him, man, but like he's kind of like, I saw this good quote on Twitter. Klopp is the kind of guy who tells you to run like 5 miles, but then mandates you to put like 10-pound weights in each of your ankles just to make it more challenging. Like, bro, you could make this 1,000% easier on yourself, but here you are just making things harder for everyone. So listen, I trust him, but I don't agree, and I don't think we're going to be bringing anyone in anymore. So
how about you, Kazi? You're Mr. Optimist.
Yeah, man, I think we do Gravenberch. I think that gets done by the sound of it. Christian Volk, who's very big in the Bayern scene on the German side, he said that he's being made available in the last couple of days, kind of thing. Like, he's kind of made his feelings known. I think Liverpool do something like that. And before all the people go into insane mode about Liverpool have £110 million to spend, they don't. Like, you literally...
I think they have £110 million to spend for a person, like for the value. Like, they're not going to spend it to spend it.
Exactly that. And then it comes back to the point of also, we commit to buy the player over the period of the contract. 110 million. So you put it that basically how it works, guys, for the people who are watching. You buy a player, you put a down payment on the player that season, and then you pay off the money over the length of the contract. Liverpool are probably paying Brighton 20 million quid for Caicedo this year, and then probably paying the rest over 5 years. Liverpool do not have 110 million pound cash right now to spend on players, because it also comes back to the Szoboszlai deal. When basically Leipzig said, if you let this expire and don't give us the money, we're going to ask for 80 million quid. So give us the 60 now up front. And I think Liverpool spunked the load on Szoboszlai. I think, and by the way, we all probably agree that was a good decision at the time to get that, So it's very, very difficult for me to judge them right now, of course, because I don't think you can judge them till the end, because if something does happen, and then we all look like idiots. You know what I mean? If Liverpool go out and do a Gravenberch and stand a centre-half...
I'd be a happy idiot, though, Kazi. Exactly. I'd be a happy idiot.
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, please. Prove me wrong. You know what I mean? I know what you're saying. But I think Gravenberch, I think he wants Gravenberch more than Decore. I think he wants a man to do a bit of both. I think he likes a couple of players to do a bit of both in different positions. I think that's why he likes Bajcetic and then Thiago, where I have for Fabinho, for example, you can only play the number 6, or you can't play number 8. For example, where he can get 4 or 5 different players to do the same kind of, thing, basically.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm kind of like torn on this now, because all this time, maybe I was being naive. Like, these guys were constantly saying center back, and I was like, man, I really would like another person in midfield. It feels like in midfield, at least there is a gamble, because I feel it's a gamble to say, oh, there's Thiago and there's Bajcetic. It goes back to last year where he counted a bunch of names that everybody in the room knew they were not reliable. I'm sure Klopp knew as well, and that's what aggravates me. Like, you can't be in that much denial and say, like, Ox should be there, Keita's there, right? Kind of thing. Yeah. You knew better. And I feel like the same situation with Thiago and to a certain extent Bajcetic, because we don't know how he's going to come back. So I felt like we need somebody else aside from Endo to cover the midfield. But then when this happens and you look, you're like, ugh. I mean, before you know it, you might have Nat Phillips for life. And that is, that is not a good life.
The centre-half thing is super worrying. It really is worrying.
Yeah.
And like I was one of the people who were preaching for the centre-half 6 weeks ago. I thought Liverpool would do a centre-half. But then, as John just said there's no concrete links. There was no concrete links on Endo. And we just signed him. Yeah. And then everyone's like, who the fuck's Endo? Like, everyone was Googling where he played and what he was doing. Everyone was on YouTube. He's probably the most viewed YouTube, like a Mr. Beast clip. Or trying to find, Endo clips at night to go, who is this person?
Hey, he's higher rated than Caicedo in FIFA, man.
That's it. Slam dunk for all the little FIFA kids out there. Slam dunk. I can't
wait what kills me.
Yeah, great.
I watched the YouTube clip. Like, the moment they signed it, they had all these clips of like Caicedo, right? Like when they, not signed them, I guess, like when the word was out that it's a done deal, I was like, oh, this is I know who did the clip. And this is what kills me about those clips. They're garbage, people. And I'm too lazy to make a clip of myself to make me look. And I'm going to shove that out there every time and be like, doesn't that guy look like he's 100 million? Yeah, he's not worth shit. That's me, kind of a thing. But yeah, welcome to Liverpool. Yes, I like welcome to Liverpool. Anytime a rumor comes out, there's a guy photoshopped wearing our jersey.
By the way, I've never ever seen a better YouTube video than Naby Keita's clubs at RB Leipzig. I genuinely thought it was Stan Maradona.
But here's the thing, as a person who's watched Caicedo and knew like how good of a player he was, whoever made the video is like a freaking sliding tackle fanatic. So it was a video of like Caicedo making these last second ditch like challenges that really didn't look that good. Yeah. And I was like if I didn't know the dude, I'd be like, dude, this guy's gonna give up like 10 penalties a game. When I guess he did give one on this first game at Chelsea too. But it looked like a dude who's always like Wan-Bissaka, like always a second behind the play, so has to make these sliding tackles to look good. So yeah, screw those. Exactly. Liverpool don't usually do their business in public, and I do agree with that, especially for a center back. I can almost see though is especially if we do get Gravenberch, maybe like a loan deal for a center back, and it will be only to fill the numbers, make us feel better. It wouldn't be somebody. It would be Arthur or Davies. You know what? There you go. Bring Ben Davies back. Hashtag bring Ben Davies.
Unless Klopp is like serious about Kwanzaa, though. I don't know what you guys feel about that.
I think he says this all the time, about players, because I remember when we signed Allison fucking a day before.
Yeah, Danny Ward. Danny Ward.
I'm going with Danny Ward. I've got 2 great keepers. We just then spunk 75 million on one. So the manager's going to say things which suits the narrative.
Yeah.
The manager did it with Endo. We did not know who Endo was. We do our business quietly. So I am hopeful. I think Gravenberch and a centre-half would be a 10 out of 10 window for Liverpool. I genuinely think it'd be 10 out of 10 for me, especially with how good Szoboszlai and McAllister look. We all want McAllister further up the field. Let's see what he's about now. We have that Endo situation. He likes Gravenberch. You've got Bisesic, who can do bits at number 6, who was excellent in the number 6 last year. People forget how good he was, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like, Chris is already singing. That's probably what Klopp.
The kid is going to be a monster in a few years, though. The kid's going to... he's going to be a monster in a few years, though. Like,
but I thought that about Billy Cometio. So what can you say there?
Yeah, exactly. He was going to be a monster too.
He's a different kind of monster, Comieto.
Yeah, I don't know. He's scaring right now. I don't know where he's at, who he's scaring, but he's not a monster on the pitch, so I don't know about that. So, by the way, do not forget pre-match, post-match tomorrow. We'll go on air usually like about an hour or so once the lineups come out. The pre-match will be on over here. The Polish Prince is hosting that one, so that is a treat within itself.
Sunday, I think, though.
Even if there wasn't a game, you should just tune in just to watch.
One for the ladies.
Is the game tomorrow
really
on Sunday?
For that female audience, so we're
the Reds are Sunday. The Reds are on Sunday.
Oh, Sunday, okay.
Yeah, we've got to get the females in. Polish Prince is hosting. He actually is a prince, girls. So there you go.
Causey gassing up Matouche. Let's go, man.
Yeah, so we'll probably definitely talk a lot about the game that day. So let's look at the rest of the action over here. Any game over here, we talked about it with the panel show yesterday because we had an Arsenal and a Fulham guy on board. So obviously they went at it. But John, any game over here that somebody should tune into to be shocked and amazed?
I think Forest take points from United.
Yeah, I think so too, dude.
Yeah.
I have a feeling about that because I was telling the boys too. I feel like, and the same thing, I actually feel like Wolves will do something too, but that might be wishful thinking.
Oh, Everton? Oh, that's for sure.
We'll come to that. I've got that one.
Oh, yeah. Everton, I figured I will leave Everton to you. But I can see Forest because I think United is in a situation with all this Greenwood mess and obviously last week's game where they can, if Forest starts that game out well, they can take the crowd out of it really fast and make that crowd turn on that team. And it's not it's not a home game at Old Trafford anymore. So I'm kind of like going for that, and Forest might pull something off. So you're saying Sparky says Everton win, but Sparky's like a closet Everton fan. He always wants Everton to do well too. Too many family connections clouds Sparky's judgments on this. But Chris says, and I actually I don't know, it was semi tongue-in-cheek, but that was something coming out too. Luton to score against City is going to be a little tricky, but I don't know if they can pull that off. Maybe he means Chelsea, because Chris is saying to get a draw at Chelsea too. Do you guys see that, John? Do you see Luton pulling off something? They are well rested.
It would be funny. Let me just say, it would be funny. Like, for all of Chelsea's big talk about getting... Like, I would love them to get some, honestly, because, Chelsea have made us look like fools. So I would love them to look like fools on the pitch,
Well, they already have, really. And the way they started.
They do that themselves. They do that themselves, fella. They don't need our help.
And Caicedo to drop a 4 out of 10. Yeah, that.
And honestly, if you're a Chelsea fan, this is in some ways a dream scenario because this is a team that you can probably smash and hopefully, you turn things around kind of a thing, get some positivity because there's a lot of negativity going around. But I can see this too, where they're all kind of like over the top excited and Luton gets one, but then it becomes kind of like the Bournemouth game. They almost get hustled into the game and then they get smashed 4-1 or something like that. Ryan says, I can see anything happen to Chelsea at this point. And
yeah, I have no idea. But I mean, the Everton Wolves game, mate, I don't think there's two worse sides in the league. I've never not looked forward to seeing 44 minutes of injury time at the end of the game because they just keep kicking the ball out to each other. I'm so excited. Just kick like an NFL, just keeping the ball into touch. But I mean, listen, as you know, I am the avid Everton guy here. They had Calvert-Lewin back last week. Had all his injuries, breaks his cheekbone. The most thing, because they always go, we want our players with commitments. Well, he committed to a ball that he was about a 90-10 favourite not to win. Breaks his cheek, and now he's out the next game in a relegation 6-pointer. And then and then you've got Dwight McNeil out for basically 6 to 8 weeks. You've got Damari Gray refusing to play because he wants to go to the Saudi League, which should be confirmed in the next couple of days. So your other most creative player, according to all the stats, is Alex Iwobi, who pulls up and pulls his hamstring in the Villa game. He keeps playing Michael Keane. And I know it says John can fill in a centre-half. I genuinely think he could fill in over Michael Keane at centre-half. He might be the worst centre-half in the league. And it's not even a joke. He probably is the worst centre-half in the league. I avidly watch Everton. They have a 38-year-old Ashley Young playing left-back. Where do we carry on? They're going to play Neil Maupay up front, who scored 1 league goal in 40 games. Everton are in a mess. The new stadium funding have just been pulled. MSP, who are going to invest into Everton Football Club, they pulled out last minute. They basically pulled out the deal and said, yeah, we can't be bothered dealing with you guys basically anymore. The stadium is getting built, but the stadium's kind of built on sand, in effect, because of the finances for the stadium. So this game, and I always go back to the Palace game a couple of years ago when they won 3-2 and stayed up and they nearly got relegated, and last season, the Bournemouth at home. This game sets the precedent for Everton of where we're going to see. If Wolves get something from this game, but bearing in mind, by the way, I've watched both Wolves games, and I thought Wolves played quite well actually in both. I think they were unlucky against Brighton. I thought actually they were in the game quite a bit, and Brighton were just a better team. And that happens. Of course, your Wolves are the better side against United.
Yeah.
Everton might just stay up by default because Sheffield United and Luton are worse.
That's what I was going to ask you. I mean, is that their saving grace that there are a few teams that are worse squads? But like you said, if they lose this game,
it's petrifying. It's petrifying.
That kind of makes them the third, right? Because everybody was putting Wolves there. I thought that's why it's kind of like weird. The first, maybe it's too early, but you watch the first 2 weeks, and the first week I thought Wolves looked great. Not as much last week. Like you say, it is against one of the best teams in the league in terms of the way they play. So I can kind of see that. So I think it's going to take like week 4, week 5, or something like that before we understand who is what. But yeah, you're going against like Sheffield United's, Luton Town. Who else would you put right there right now as the third worst team?
It probably is Everton. Wolves are probably up there. Bournemouth look pretty good. They've already got a win, I think. So you're actually like Everton's next 2 games are Wolves and Sheffield United, which already feels like relegation 6-pointers, and we're in fucking August. Like what this is like. It's insane how badly a club can be mismanaged in terms of Everton. But I don't know if they win this game. Like if Wolves go 1-0 up inside the first 20, that ground would be fucking toxic. Like toxically bad.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Because here's the thing, and I don't blame him for being biased. Like Chris says, Luton, Sheffield United, Everton. I mean, that like right now, that's how it looks. I know this time last year we were probably putting Forest in there, right? We were like, Forest is definitely going down. Yeah. So things can change. But yeah, as of now, I agree. That's how it looks. But I mean, John, you can't blame the fans for being like, what the fuck? Because I think everybody in the world knew what this team needed. And it's almost like they've ignored every need. I know they have financial issues, but you look at a team like what Forest did last year. I think if I'm an Everton fan, I'd rather do what Forest did last year, get a bunch of people who don't cost a lot of money and hope one of that shit sticks.
Yeah. With Everton fans, man, easily one of the most passionate fan bases in the league. The fact that they're really toxic means that they still give a shit. For me, the worst possible scenario is apathy. Yeah. Like even if they go down, they don't care. That's the worst possible scenario. Look, right now they're still fighting. They're still pissed off, which is still good. Yeah. They still give a shit, but man, Everton better sort this out quick because once those fans start turning on them completely and start not giving a crap, that is just unfortunate.
The difference is here, though, guys, now for Everton compared to the other clubs, maybe not Luton as such because they're garbage. Everton can't score. Yeah. You can't score. They haven't scored a goal. You can't win games. So even Wolves last week and go, we should have scored 3 at United.
Yes.
To go to Brighton and go, we still scored. Like, you've got that monkey off your back of, like, you've scored a goal. They haven't scored a goal. They don't even look like they can score. That is petrifying if you're fighting down the bottom of the league, that it looks like you can't score a goal. Like, with Nottingham Forest, they can hang their hat on Taiwo, and Taiwo might get them 6 winners. Might have scored 8 goals, but he scores 6 winners for them at all, and there's 18 points, and we all go from there.
They are rock bottom. Sorry, cuz I just can't get over that. They are rock bottom right now.
And they haven't scored a goal, and they don't look like scoring.
I think here's the thing. I know, I mean, Chris says Sean Dyche football is not a high-scoring style, but I think they're leaking goals too, and that's not Sean Dyche's style. I think they're not even getting these 0-0 draws or anything like that. And Sean Dyche football, they're like, we'll get a set piece. It's gonna eventually bounce off somebody else's head and go in, kind of a deal. And they can't even do that. And they can't even like say, let's buckle down and then counter, because you can't counter with Mape. And I know, is Damari Gray gone? I know he was.
Yeah, he's refusing to play. He's going to Saudi Arabia in the next couple of days. He's refused to play the first games.
What a mess.
Yeah. But I mean, they're going to get like 20 million for Damari Gray. So even like coming back to the signings as such, should they do Ashley Young, who's 38 on a free? I understand that because you can set a level. But he started the first 2 games. I thought he's going to come in and just mess about, play the shit minutes towards the end to get lads over the line. No, he's starting the games.
Let me just say, Kazi, whenever I feel down about Liverpool and we talk about other clubs, I felt this Tim when we talked with the Burnley dude. I forget Chris. When we talked with Chris, I was like, yeah, never mind. Our problems aren't really problems, are like right now.
When Liverpool lose a game, I call my blue mates on a Monday back in England. How are you getting on, pal? Yeah. Oh, you got me 4-0 to Villa.
Where we don't like Konate is injured. We don't have an elite DM, but hey, at least we fucking scored, right?
I call my blue mates and I'm there sitting there moaning, going, "Fucking, I want 1-0 down to Bournemouth, and I won the game, but we were poor." And he goes, "Don't talk to me about poor. You have no idea about how poor a football team can be. Liverpool have never been this poor in 60 years. Don't tell me about poor." So it's like, it does give me a bit of a boost. But going back to the signing thing, which we can probably, it is a good point, but they would like to go there. And it's interesting. They just signed this Chimiti. He's a kid from Sporting Lisbon, 19, 28 million. He's played like 14 games for Sporting Lisbon. And you're like, is that the only thing? Like, why him? Why him? Because if it was me personally, I would go, why didn't you just go and sign Chris Wood? Mm-hmm. Just go and sign Chris Wood and go and get me 10 goals. That's all I care about, that kind of, and replicate that Calvert-Lewin size and style. Try and replicate it in someone else. But they go from Calvert-Lewin to Maupay. They were 2 different levels of player and how they work. So Everton will probably, hopefully, means more to me than Liverpool winning anything.
Let me throw a name at you guys, because literally we were talking about this with my brother yesterday, because we do like a show for like Fenerbahce. Joshua King. Why wouldn't Everton throw 4 or 5 million?
Josh King?
Yeah.
Because they had Josh King on loan under Ancelotti for 6 months and he didn't play him.
But I mean, they clearly need a forward, and I think King is so much better than freaking Mape.
I agree. This is why it comes back to me with Chris Wood. I would have just done Chris Wood at the start of the window.
It can't get any worse.
It can't get, exactly. It can't get. So if I'm, for example, if I'm Everton now, if they were quite clever, I'll bid for Callum Wilson. He can't get a game. He no longer plays for Newcastle. And you're like, I'd actually laugh, look and go, do you fancy it? Do you fancy just coming in and being R9 and starting every single game in the Premier League?
And I think that goes back to what Ryan was saying. Who would want to go there? Somebody who knows their spot is guaranteed.
Exactly.
And they can kind of show their value and, maybe put themselves out there instead of sitting on somebody's bench, never getting minutes. Somebody who's going to be like, I'm a striker, so I will start. Yes.
I'm like like, of course, like an obsessive with Everton. And the one that always stands out to me is Raul Jimenez for 5 million quid. If you've got no money, 5 million quid for Raul Jimenez to go and get 8 to 10 goals in a season could be enough just to save your ass. And he also replicates the style of Calvert-Lewin. You need that. If you want to play this way, you want a lad who's 6'4" to come off the bench. I don't know, and replace a lad who's 6'4". That'll be really handy for you. And it's just like, it's just some of the signs they're doing. They just don't make any sense to me. They really don't. And I would, if I'm Everton, I would be petrified.
What's his name? That dude from United, the big guy, Weghorst. Is he still there?
No, Weghorst went on loan. He's on loan to Wolfsburg. He went back to Wolfsburg.
Yeah, he went back to Germany, I think, dude. He's there. I mean, when United signed them, we were like hysterically laughing with my brother because we were making fun of him at Besiktas. And for United to sign him as like a rescue guy, I was like, you got to be shitting me. Like, He's not even Turkish league quality. Why the fuck did they sign this guy?
It says it all when Vincent Kompany wants him out. If Vincent Kompany wants him out and he's in the Championship, it says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If Vincent Kompany, who's a Championship manager at the time, goes, he's not good enough for me.
Yeah.
So that's why it comes back for. Workhorse is a great point, John. Just someone who can replicate the size and go, if we're going to hit a target man, at least have a target man. But when you're swapping Calvert-Lewin for Mopé, it's like, fucking hell, Mopé comes so deep to get the ball and stuff. They have no outlet going up front. If you're only going to have 25-30% of possession in games, you need a guy that can hold the ball up for you.
Yes. That's the thing, especially if you're going to play Daesh football. And that's what, like Mopé does not fit that, I feel.
No.
So, yeah. So, okay, well, Sean Douche, let's talk about that real quick. If they lose this week, is Douche's job in jeopardy? No?
You asking Cause or me?
Go on, Joe.
Oh, yeah, I have him as the first manager that gets sacked this year. Does Lopetegui count? Because he technically was...
does not. No,
okay. Well, there we go.
I didn't even get to see it.
Right. I have Daesh as the first man. In our predictions thing on the Discord, I have Daesh as the first man. Yeah, so...
I remember Mr. Bichler was trying to swing in Lopetegui before the season started.
Yeah.
Nope. Didn't start.
On a technicality, yeah.
Okay, real quick before we go, predictions, and then like I say, we'll talk a lot on Sunday morning before the game as well. But Newcastle game, Kazi, go.
I would have said we would. I'll go on. I'll say we win. I'll go on. I'll go 2-1 Liverpool. I just feel like we will score goals. We just will score goals, and it'd be nice to see us now what we're like with the number 6 in. Let's see what we're like now. Don't trust the other two games. We never had a number 6. We have a proper number 6 now. We have McAllister further up the field with Szoboszlai and all this kind of stuff. Let's find out where we are. So I'll go 2-1 Liverpool.
John.
2-2.
That's where Sparky is at. I was at 3-2. This Konate thing.
Yep. I thought we'd win before Konate got hurt. Unfortunately, I think the right side where Konate is going to be is too big a miss. Unfortunately, I think they're going to be targeting that area even more. Like on Harry's article, endorsing him again from American Scouser, the American Scouser website. The gap back then when we had a decent midfield was big. Now playing this system, it's even bigger, man. So without a proper like right-sided center half who could run, who's physical, I don't know. I'm just really scared whenever Newcastle are going to get the ball and they target that.
Yeah, it's going to be a stressful watch. My scheduling is on the limbo over here, so I will be saved from watching that stress. But I don't know how to look at that now. But now that I found out Konate is out, I was like, yeah, let's do that fence. Pochettino, first manager gone, says Chris. Honestly, I don't see him getting canned, but I can see Pochettino saying "fuck you guys" and getting out of there. Saying like, okay, is this thing on? Anybody listening to me? Kind of a thing, and leaving there. I can see that. Like in the last day of the window, they get him 2 more center midfielders, and he's like, "Oh my God, is anybody listening?" And I can see him walking out, but I don't think he gets canned. Ryan says he'll be thrilled to get a point. I know that was last question then before we go.
Well,
I don't take the draw as a huge disappointment in this fixture. Like I wouldn't be like, God damn it. I would not be upset if we leave with a 1-1 or a 0-0. I'm not going to be happy, but I would not be upset. Where are you guys at with that, John? Are you happy with 2-2? Like 2-2?
Yeah. Considering what happened, I wouldn't be upset anymore. But like if we had Konate and we drew a little bit, because this first 3 games, Chelsea away, Bournemouth home, Newcastle away. We get 5 points from 3 games. That's not a spectacular return, but it's not the worst either, considering it's just the start of the season. We have time to make up for it, that's for sure.
And it's tough pictures, like 2 tough away games.
Yeah, it's very tough. So to answer your question, I would not be upset. I'll take it.
Kazi, you're never upset.
No, man. I mean, I wouldn't take it as such, but I'll be okay with it. It's like I'm always very much the case of take 4 points around the teams with your rivals. Take 4 points off them. So if you go and draw with Newcastle, you best beat them at home.
Yeah,
because you know what I'm saying. Go and take. I was always right with City. If the people want to win the league off City, you got to take 6 points off them because no one else can beat them apart from you. So you have to, the best chance for the team to beat them is you. So it's like that's what I've always been like. But I feel like Liverpool could really set the market in this game. I feel like with Newcastle last week, people forget that City were in the Super Cup on the Wednesday, and you're playing them on the Saturday, and I thought they were crap. I thought Newcastle were pretty crap, to be honest, personally. So I feel like, did they bottle these big games? Liverpool done the double over them last year, and Liverpool were crap. Like, Liverpool were the only team to beat them twice, I think, because I think they only lost like 4 games all season.
I mean, one of them was that weird 98th minutes, which will look normal now, but it didn't at the time. I think, it is the hardest place to play. I agree. 3 points over there would be a statement, though.
Yeah,
I would take that as like a holy shit, we're in kind of.
We could do something here. We could do something this season. I think it's
all right
to the players. I think it's those the belief as well.
Let me expand on that, Kazi. We get 3 points against Newcastle. Where do you see Liverpool? Where do you see the Liverpool season going?
I still think Liverpool win the league anyway.
Right.
0 points. He would say the same thing. So
that's fair. That's fair.
I don't think anyone will score more goals than us. I think we have the best attack in the league. I think we have the best goalkeeper in the league. And I think I will put my centre halves up against most, apart from City's. I will put my centre halves still against.
I thought you were going to be like, I will put my centre halves with everybody except Nat Phillips. And then you put City at the end.
But you look, I look at the others, and I look at our 2 signings of McAllister and Szoboszlai. I look like 2 world beaters. So why not? Why can't you do something special? Why can't you? Why can't we dream?
One thing that I noticed, by the way, that everybody warmed up to Endo within that with that 30-minute performance he put out there. And everybody's like, there's no doubts anymore. Like within 30 minutes, the dude made a case for himself.
He genuinely couldn't run. I thought right? Like the first 10 minutes, I thought he must be towing a caravan here. He must be towing something behind him, because I'm like, he can't. And then he got into the game and he felt better. Let's give him a week. Let's see what he's about. Why not? Why can't Liverpool win the league?
I think just the fact that he pushes Mac to where he should be, pushes Gakpo to where he should be, is a win by itself.
A specialist 6. A specialist 6. Yeah,
exactly. All Liverpool needed was a competent number 6.
Yes.
I don't need you to put in Fabinho, Barcelona levels performance. Just come in and be a competent number 6. Szoboszlai and McAllister do the rest.
He looks the part, so we shall see. That's why I was hoping for a full 11, including Konate this week. But it is what it is, and maybe this will be our full 11 moving forward. I mean, Joe Gomez was part of like a world-beating back line. So let's give the kid some credit. I know he gets so much slack, but I guess somebody has to in the back line, because we can't blame. We love everybody else, so whoever the 4th one is going to be the black sheep anyway. So we'll be back Sunday morning, bright and early. Ladies, get ready. Matush is going to be Polish Prince is going to be here hosting that pre-match. I know you boys are going to be on there. I might be able to make an appearance as well. That's when all the ladies will turn it off. It was the audience probably, but we'll see you guys then. Have a great Friday and a weekend, at least till Sunday morning when the stress levels goes up. We'll see you guys then.